Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you're watching the markets review. During this program we are going to go through most popular and famous assets of stock market, the indexes, and of course the Forex market, pairs, and we are going through the oil prices. We are going to see what is going on with gold prices, and of course with the cryptocurrencies, which are most famous like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we are going to find some solutions for intraday tradings. It means that we are going to find some solutions about trading during the day. So don't forget to watch this video till the end. As you know, nowadays on the markets, and of course the trend have been started yesterday, the stock market started to rise again. The stock market actually fell down previously exactly to the local support. S&P 500, it actually fell down to the local support, and now it's reversing. Now it's strengthening, as well as Dow Jones, which have been fell as well to the local support, and then it started to reverse. Actually, during the previous programs, we told you that something like this could happen. This scenario could actually happen, and there is some analytics that tell us that actually the optimism in the stock market, it still exists because of the Federal Reserve interest rate hiking in the future. This fact still exists as well. This is the only fact that could really make stock market to start the correctional movement, downward correctional movement. But this fact, it would happen. I mean, the Federal Reserve System interest rate hiking would start maybe in the next year. So the positive point of view about stock market still exists, and there is some interesting analytics from Barclays, the British bank, and of course from Jim Cramer that tells that don't be so negative about stock market, United States stock market as well, European stock market. After the previous reversal and correctional movements, downward correctional movements, now actually it's opportunity to start the buying, start the bullish positions. Let's go through the economic calendar. Today's economic calendar, we have some interesting releases in today's economic calendar, which could really make their impacts on market, have some impacts on market. So let's see what are these releases. We're waiting for the European Central Bank meeting, and that's the release published account of monetary policy meeting. As you know, they are buying the yields, they're buying the bonds, and that's the only thing that's European Central Bank is doing now to just help euro not to fall further, because dollar is strengthening, as you know. And on this kind of background, the euro, the pound, they could be really under pressure. But European Central Bank, it really can't cut the stimulus program, and the United Kingdom Bank as well. They cannot cut the stimulus faster than Federal Reserve System. So they are going to continue to buy the bonds, which could help the national value to not to fall further. We will see the technical picture of European national currency, and of course the British national currency as well, a little bit later. And from United States at 12:30 by Greenwich time, initial jobless claims, which is getting lower. That's a good news for dollar. At 2 o'clock, IB PMI of Canada, we don't have any prognosis, we don't have any forecast about this release. So the most famous thing, the most powerful thing that really can affect the Canadian dollar is oil prices. And now, as you know, oil prices started the correctional movement, downward correctional movement, just because of the United States Reserve, United States oil reserves, which have been started to fall. I mean, the volume of the oil reserves started to fall in the United States previously, yesterday, and because of that, the oil prices, they started to grow, and because of that, oil prices started to fall. So what would go on today, during the day and till the end of this week, we are going to see on the chart of stock market and United States dollar. And as you know, the United States dollar index have an opposite correlation with the stock market indexes. At a daily chart of United States dollar, we can see the reversal from upside. Actually, during the previous programs, we told you that this reversal could really happen, and as we see, this reversal happened. At a 4-hour chart, this reversal mostly looks like a consolidation. But could really be sure about next upward movement. I think the next upward movement of dollar, if it happened in the near future, and if it would be really impulsive, and it really close about 94.60, 94.80 impulsive with one candle or two candles. I mean, one candle in a 4-hour chart, or two candles or three candles in the 1-hour chart. That would be a really good signal, because when the bottom or the top of market gets retested by a really impulsive movement, the next thing that could happen, that's a continuance of the reversal. So here we had some kind of reversal, but now we cannot really be sure about the continuation of this downward movement of dollar, but it could really happen during the midterm. So at midterm, we could really be more sure about dollar's reversal downward, and of course, stock market indexes reversal upward. As we see, they have already reversed from the local supports, S&P 500 and Dow Jones as well. And there is one moment which really make us have to make you a little bit scared to buy further in the near future, because we had a really impulsive reverse from the supports in this S&P 500 chart, in the Dow Jones chart, and because of this impulsive reversal movement and this changing of the size of the candles, we really have to think about a consolidational movement in the near future. So in the near future, maybe we could have a minimum correctional and a really minimum and really short correctional movement, downward correctional movement in the S&P 500 chart, and of course in the Dow Jones chart as well. So maybe we have to wait for buys and maybe start them about 34,300 for Dow Jones, and we can actually start buying about 4,350 for S&P 500. So maybe now, just in this time, we have to maybe a little wait for them to just do this correction, just complete this correction, in which they are going to go through. Actually, they are going to go through a correction, I think. And after that, the buys will continue in the future, in the midterm. So about euro and pound and Australian dollar, and of course New Zealand dollar, they could really continue the rise as well, because they have been already reversed after the breakthrough of the local support, but they are under this local support. So for euro and for pound situation is more better, because pound prices haven't even broke through this support. They are actually above the local support. They are above the historical support. So they have a potential of correctional movement, downward correctional movement. But for euro, this potential is not so big. So actually, due to this pressure which we have here, maybe we could have a really fast upward impulse in the near future. But then after that, we have to really wait for the prices to really get strength above 1.3564 pound and 1.1580 for euro. So before they get really strength above these marks, we cannot say about the continuance of buying positions. Australian dollar is retesting a local resistance, and New Zealand dollar is retesting a mirror level. So what would happen here? I think that we could have a real good impulse in the near future for New Zealand dollar, and for Australian dollar we could actually have an impulse as well. But next, after this impulse, if this impulse really happen, we could really see the next reversal or next consolidational movement. So for New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar, situation is not really good. We have to wait, but we could really have an impulsive upward movement. That's a fact. Let's go through the assets which are the risk assets, the commodity, gold, silver, platinum. And as we already told you that gold from previous time, it have been reversed from the local support, then it actually rose to the nearest resistance, and now it's kind of getting strength above this resistance, above 1760. That's a really important level for gold, and we actually paid really great attention on it during previous prognosis, during the previous programs, if you remember. So here we have a strengthening of gold prices, which really could mean that dollar price could continue the downward movement in the midterm, which would be good news for stock market of Europe, stock market of United States, and in the midterm. What about platinum? Platinum is actually kind of get pressure to 980, and this pressure could turn into an upward impulse to $1,000. So this impulse, this momentum, we have to actually catch it because we have some pressure here. And for silver, this pressure exists, but silver is already above the local resistance, and the size of the candles are not so big. Could it mean that prices could reverse in the near future? They could, but at the midterm, there is a potential of next upward movement, and that's a fact. In the midterm, we have a real good opportunity of the continuation of the upward movement of gold, of silver, and platinum as well. So next is coming Euro franc, United States dollar franc, and 2 franc, and the United States dollar to Japanese yen. Swedish franc and Japanese yen are the risk assets as well, like commodities. When something is wrong with stock market, when something is wrong with economy, these currencies rise. But as you know, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of Swiss, they are not so interested in the rising of the value of their national currencies. So here we have to pay attention to the fundamental fact as well. Euro to franc, Swiss franc, it looks like that it have already retested local support very impulsively to retest local support. In the near future, we could have a consolidational movement, maybe, but at the midterm, maybe this downward movement could continue. In the midterm, this downward movement could continue. We are now retesting the local support or the historical support, if you want to say that. And we have a potential of downward movement, I think, till 1.065 maybe. The United States dollar to Swiss franc. Here situation looks like that we actually have a potential of next downward movement, but in the near future we could get reversed, and maybe we could get retest 0.9270, and after that we could continue the downward movement. So here we could have a real consolidational movement, but next in the midterm, I think simultaneously when dollar start to go downward, these pairs could really continue to fall as well. United States dollar to Japanese yen, consolidation here is continuing, and about downward movement, I cannot be so sure. But here we have a potential of next impulsive movement, downward movement to the local resistance of 111.20. 111.20 is a good level to get retested in the near future, actually. The oil prices, as you know, the yesterday's releases of the United States oil reserves, which have been raised, made oil prices to get dumped. And this fact, for now, it could be really short term. It could have a really short term impact. So about oil, actually, due to this downward, really fast downward impulsive movement to the trend line, which, as you know, this trend line exists here for a long time, and as you saw, the breakthrough of the middle of previous impulse, about 77, you had to know that prices could really continue this downward movement till the next target level. And as you see, these levels that we already gave you previous time, prices are acting when they retest this level levels. For example, they actually broke through 77, but they retested. They retested again from downside, and that's a sign that this level is powerful. And now we just have a reversal from the target level of 75.20. If the consolidational movement here continues, it would be a good signal of next reversal upward, which could really help stock market, which could really help euro pound as well to continue to rise against United States dollar. In the midterm, what would go on with United States dollar to Canadian dollar pair? As you know, the Canadian dollar is really get a real big impact of the oil prices volatility. When oil is getting strength, when oil is rising, the Canadian dollar start to rise as well, and this fact makes this pair to go downward. In this time, we have a consolidational movement of dollar and the downward movement of oil prices. But oil could really start to rise, which could really make this pair to continue the downward movement, especially if dollar prices reverse from the top of the market. They're the only moment here that we are testing a very powerful support. But I feel that maybe in the midterm we could really break through this local support and go further. So here is just just a prediction. And maybe 1.25 and 1.2450 would be good levels to get retested in the future. They could get retested maybe impulsively or maybe during some days. And of course, we're going through the Bitcoin prices and Ethereum prices. As you know, Bitcoin prices have been broke through 50,000. There is an analysis that says Bitcoin prices in this month, they could really get strengthened above $50,000, and the $50,000 mark could really turn into a support. And technically, that's possible. But this impulse in the daily chart, won't be a really good news. We maybe in the near future could get reversed from 57,000 or 55,000. We could really get reversed from 57 or 55. Let's look through the 4-hour or 1-hour chart. As you see here, we have a reversal at 1-hour chart. And in the near future, we could actually get more reversed or continue the downward movement. But be careful, if the nearest downward movement of Bitcoin is impulsive, this would be a signal of the next reversal and the returning of the price into the upward phase. So the upward movement and the retest of 55,000, 57,000 is kind of logical. So we could wait for it, and then maybe the prices could start the real good correction, the real powerful correction to 50,000 or to 47,000. So 47,000, 50,000, we could really have them, we could really test them after the retest of 57,000 or 60,000. If these retests happen impulsively in the 4-hour chart or daily charts. What about Ethereum? What is going on with Ethereum? Ethereum gets less volatility, than that's because of the background of the Ethereum, technical background of the Ethereum, which is better than Bitcoin, and it's more popular than Bitcoin, and many stable coins in the different countries have been made from the on the platform of it, on the basis of Ethereum. What's going on with Ethereum? Ethereum is retesting the mirror level, and this mirror level is about 3,500, 3,550, let's say. And actually, we don't have to get under 3,530 or 50. If prices get retest this range impulsively, which we have here, they have retested impulsively, we could really wait for next upward movement, next impulsive upward movement. So maybe the next impulsive upward movement would be a more logical thing to happen. But before it starts, we have to know that we have a risk range here. We have a risk range about 3,550 and 3,500. That's a real risk range, which in the case of retest, in the case of its retest, and in the case of its impulsive retest, the next movement of the prices could be upward. But if prices get pressured, get squeezed to this range, that won't be a real good signal. Thank you guys that you watched this video. I wish that you liked it. If you liked it, don't forget to like it physically under the video. Don't forget to leave your comments under the video and ask your questions as well. We have different type of programs on this channel. They would come later. So don't forget to subscribe on the channel and ring the bell so you would know when the new videos will come out, so you would see them and check the news in the right time. Thank you guys. Until next time, have a good tradings. Bye bye.